Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you very much for checking out the live edition of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you very much for your time. I know this is one of those spur of the moment type lives. I didn't tell anybody that I was coming on live, but that's the way I do it, man. I do it pop-up shop style, man. I'm not so real big on just a whole bunch of people just watching me at one time. People watch me when you can. If you're watching live, thank you very much. If you're not watching this live, still appreciate you. First off, I want to give a special shout out to my guy Joe from Fantasy Football Counselor. I was on his show earlier today talking about Alvin Kamara, which is the topic of conversation on this edition. So I encourage you all to check out the interview that I did with Joe on Fantasy Football Counselor. Is available on YouTube, youtube.com. Search Fantasy Football Counselor. It's about 19 minutes, man. I was happy to be on that, man. That's like one of the first interviews that I ever did as far as like talking about the Saints. So that was a great experience for me, man. But I know it's not going to be the last time. And I owe that all to you all. You all's love and support and subscribing to the channel and sharing the videos. I couldn't have done that without you all. All of the little small victories that we get here on the State of the Saints podcast, I owe to each and every one of you. And I thank you all so much. It's extremely humbling when I get emails and people telling me how much they love the podcast and, me inspiring them, because I always feel like it's the other way around. You all inspire me, when I feel like, am I doing this for absolutely nothing? Or, if anybody hearing me, I always look at you guys and you guys give me that motivation that I need to keep going. So thank you all so much. We're not going to be talking about swine songs and talking about all this emotional stuff. We're going to be talking about Alvin Kamara on this show. So if you have questions about Alvin Kamara, you have comments about Alvin Kamara, please comment. I would be glad to read them. For those that are new to the podcast, I actually read from the comment section. So it's not about spending money or you dropping money. And I'm not, if you don't drop money, I'm not going to read it. And I don't work like that, man. I read everybody's stuff as long as it's not full of profanity and all that kind of stuff there. So thank you all very much. But if you do want to donate to the show, you can hit that super chat button down at the bottom. Any donation would be appreciated. If you don't want to donate, that's cool too. So let's go ahead and get started, man. Let me go ahead and get started with the opening statement. We're talking about Alvin Kamara. This is a topic of conversation. A lot of people in the Who Dat Nation want to discuss. People want to talk about. They want to talk about Alvin Kamara. Is Alvin Kamara going to be ready for the 2020 season? Is he going to sit out? Will we see the same type of season we seen last year out of Alvin Kamara? What is going on with him? Was he hurt? Was he not hurt? Was he taking plays off? What is going on with Alvin Kamara? So we're going to go ahead and talk about that, man. First and foremost, I just want to say I think that Alvin Kamara is an incredible talent. I mean, I don't think I'm telling anybody something that they don't know. Alvin Kamara is an extremely talented guy. I mean, he came to the Saints, I think, in the third round of the NFL draft back in 2017. He took the league by storm, man. Nobody really saw him coming. The first couple games that he had was pretty pedestrian as a rookie. Then all of a sudden, the Saints played the Detroit Lions, and the next thing you know, I mean, he took off like a rocket, man. I mean, nobody could stop this guy. I mean, nobody could tackle him. He was out there catching passes like a wide receiver. Like even the last pass in the playoffs, that game against the Minnesota Vikings, Alvin Kamara actually caught a fade route catch over a defender for the Minnesota Vikings to give the Saints the lead. And we all know what the rest that happened. So Alvin Kamara has done some extremely great things for the New Orleans Saints, but it seems like this past season he took a step back. Honestly, man, looking at his stats weren't that different from years past. I mean, he still had 81 catches as he's done the first 2 years of his career. I mean, he had a 4.7 average, 4.6 his sophomore season. So, I mean, looking at the stats, it really wasn't anything missing. It was just the fact that he missed some games and he wasn't getting into the end zone at the rate that he did when he had 14 touchdowns in one season. So everybody, start to look and they're like, oh, Alvin Kamara, he fell off. Oh, Alvin Kamara, he trashed. Oh, Alvin Kamara, they need to trade him. Oh, Alvin Kamara, he a diva. Oh, he dating a stripper. Oh, Mark Ingram not there anymore. Like he jealous. I mean, I don't know what's going on. He lost his best friend. So many different reasons why Alvin Kamara fell off, but nobody looking at the fact that the man had a knee and an ankle injury. Okay. And, I really truly believe when he said he played the whole season at about 70%. I have no reason not to believe Alvin Kamara. I have no reason to. You have no reason to. I mean, the first 2 seasons, this man was out here balling. Now all of a sudden, like he takes a step back, and now everybody questioning the man's ability. He questioned the man's toughness. Questioned the man of want to. Like, come on, man. I've even heard people talking about clutch sports. Like clutch sports is sitting there telling him, man, don't play hard, man. Like, don't do that, man. Man, it's a contract here. Don't play hard. I don't believe that. Okay. Football is not like basketball, and it's definitely not like baseball. Like, I feel like in those sports, maybe you can take a playoff. But if you take a playoff in football, you getting your head knocked off, period. Like, you can't take no plays off, okay? I'm serious. I would be afraid to take plays off in a National Football League. But let me go ahead and hear from you. That's the opening statement. Shouts out to my man, Iceman T. Shouts out to Pentagon. Thank you. Does Kids, what's going on? Bradley Ward, Derek L. Iceman T says, how do you think Drew Brees' legacy suffers because of Sean Payton? That's a good question. Right off the bat, huh, Iceman? Right off the bat. How does Drew Brees' legacy suffer, or will his legacy suffer because of Sean Payton? Absolutely not, man. Look, Drew Brees is already a first ballot Hall of Famer. Drew Brees is already, man, he already got a jacket. You know what I'm saying? They just got to size him up. I mean, he's going to Canton. There's nothing more he can do except possibly, make himself a little bit more elite. I mean, it's nothing really he can do, man. I mean, the Saints, he put them on the map. The Saints were a laughing stock. The Saints were an embarrassment to the league before Drew Brees got here. I think some of us forget that sometimes because we've been winning so long. And some of you probably don't remember, because you have to think about it, man. I have to think about how long Drew Brees and Sean Payton have been in New Orleans. I mean, you have kids that weren't even born, and the only thing that they know is Drew Brees and Sean Payton and the Saints being successful. I mean, that's all they know. But once upon a time, man, the Saints weren't that good. They sucked. I'm just being honest. They suck. You can get the tickets at a gas station or Swagman's or Roberts or whatever you wanted to go. Honestly, man, you couldn't sell Saints tickets, man. Somebody said they had 2 Saints tickets, somebody, like they said that old saying, they said somebody had 2 tickets to a Saints game on their seat and somebody broke the glass and they had 4 Saints tickets on the seat. That's how it was, man. It was terrible. But along came Drew Brees and Sean Payton, and they just completely changed the narrative of the New Orleans Saints. So will his legacy suffer? No. But I will say this, Iceman. I feel like Sean Payton has caused the New Orleans Saints a lot of championships. I was thinking about that while I was driving in my car today. Really, ironically, I was riding in a car today, and I was just thinking about the play that led up to Tommy Lee Lewis, pass interference 9 call. On first down, okay? On first down, the Saints decide to go with a quick slant to Drew Brees, to Michael Thomas, and the ball hit the ground and it stopped the clock. And I'm thinking, why didn't they run the football? I feel like that was one of those things. I also think about the play that led to the turnover that Drew Brees had. I think about Taysom Hill running the ball on a draw play and getting the ball down the field for, about 20 plus yards. And then the next thing you know, the Saints actually throw the football for reasons beyond me. Instead of possibly doing something else with Taysom Hill or running the football with Alvin Kamara or Latavius Murray, they decide to throw the football. So I feel like some of those plays, in my opinion, probably cost the Saints an opportunity to advance in the playoffs and a shot at the championship. Sean Payton is one of the main reasons why the Saints have not made it over the hump. I don't feel like it had nothing to do with Drew Brees so much. I mean, Drew Brees makes his mistakes, but I just feel like he depends too much on Drew Brees to bail him out. He reminds me of that parent that wanted to be a star, that wanted to be a football star or a baseball star, or a basketball star, and they didn't have what it takes. And all of a sudden, here comes their son or their daughter, and all of a sudden, they're pushing them into the spotlight. And as their spotlight illuminates the world, they feel like that's their spotlight illuminating the world. I mean, translation, he's living vicariously through Drew Brees. Maybe because he was a quarterback, wasn't that good, about the same size and stature as Drew Brees was, is. And, he looks at him and maybe he feels like by Drew Brees throwing all those yards, it's him throwing all those yards because he's the mastermind. But at the end of the day, he has cost the New Orleans Saints some championship opportunities. I will say that. But I don't think it's going to affect Drew Brees' legacy at all. Dwayne, what's going on, man? Dwayne, thank you so much for the $1.99 donation as well, buddy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Randy says, who is that team who is saying that they think that they can beat the Saints? Who is that team? Who is that team? I guess he's breaking down the term of who that. Okay, Bradley Ward, what's going on? Let's move down a little bit because a few things that were said. What is Sean Payton's legacy in your opinion? Iceman T with another question. Sean Payton's legacy, man, you read my mind. I promise you. I was really thinking about these things. I wasn't riding in the car today and thinking about Sean Payton's legacy, but maybe about a couple of days back. What is Sean Payton's legacy? And I might tick a lot of people off for saying this, so brace yourself. Sean Payton's legacy is one Super Bowl away from being Marty Schottenheimer. I don't know a lot of people know who Marty Schottenheimer is. You have to kind of be a throwback fan to understand that. Maybe been a fan like around from 80, like the early 80s to about 2000, 2003. I think that's the last time he actually coached. But Marty Schottenheimer was a great football coach, man. Won a lot of games. Always had his team in playoff contention. Always had his team on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, but he could never walk through that door. Okay, and Marty Schottenheimer probably going to go down in history as one of the greatest football coaches of all time who never won the big one. And every time I think about Marty Schottenheimer, I think about Sean Payton because Sean Payton is the same type of coach. He took a struggling franchise. Marty Schottenheimer took a struggling Cleveland Browns franchise. Sean Payton took a struggling New Orleans Saints franchise. But the only thing is Sean Payton was able to win a Super Bowl title. If Sean Payton did win a Super Bowl title in 2009, he would be Marty Schottenheimer, a great offensive mind, but never won nothing. Okay, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why a lot of fans in the Who Dat Nation give Sean Payton passes when he screw up. A lot of people don't want to criticize him because once again, we have this mindset in the Who Dat Nation that if somebody wins something one time, we forever indebted to them, and it's blasphemous to talk about them. It's blasphemous to ridicule them in any way, shape, or form. But I'm not like that. Okay, I call a spade, and Sean Payton has been making it off these Super Bowls for quite some time. You can make an argument to say that not these last 3 years, but leading up to these years, man, when the Saints were down and they couldn't win nothing, and he couldn't get no defensive players, and he couldn't get no defensive coordinator in place to have the team organized, he set the team back a lot, okay? So I'm not talking about Sean Payton in a way like, oh, he's a terrible coach, but I'll be lying to you if I was saying that Sean Payton is not one of the main reasons why the Saints weren't successful from 2010 to 2016. I mean, it's just what it is, man. It's been a lot of hot garbage that he allowed to come into here to coordinate, to play on the defensive side of the football. His lack of commitment to the running game. He still has a lack of commitment to the running game, and it's a shame. And I feel like for the Saints not to at least make it to the Super Bowl at least 2 more times on top of the win in 2009, rather they won or lost, that's on Sean Payton. You can say it's Drew Brees, but at the same time, they have not been running the football. They weren't trying to fix the offensive line. All they were trying to do was just pad stats and add up wins. And I don't know if they were looking at their press clippings because all these analytics stuff going out, and analytics is cool, but records are made to be broken. But championships, that is something that can never be taken away from you. And yes, I feel like Sean Payton cost the Saints a whole lot of opportunities at the championship. So And honestly, man, we got to call it for what it is too. Before the Saints actually won that Super Bowl, man, a lot of people were wondering if Sean Payton was going to be able to keep his job. I remember like Sean Payton was on a hot seat because like that 10-6 season, I think they had like a couple more seasons. They just went 8-8, 8-8, and I think 7-9. And all of a sudden, like the 2009 season hit, they were red hot, and that saved the job. But a lot of people was thinking like maybe Sean Payton wasn't the answer. And then when he won that Super Bowl, all of a sudden, like people just got quiet because they're like, oh, now he won that Super Bowl. At least he won that Super Bowl. Man, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all see Saints fans. I mean, y'all talk to him. You start talking about Sean Payton, you start talking about Drew Brees. They start talking about that Super Bowl that happened 11 years ago. That's just what it is. But, I'm kind of tired of talking about that same one Super Bowl, man. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of talking about it. I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about the Saints winning multiple Super Bowls. And if Sean Payton isn't the answer down the line, or they keep on having these same type of seasons, man, we might have to, end up going in another direction. But it's not time for that yet. I don't want nobody to be like, man, TJ, you tripping. It's not time for that yet. I'm just giving you my assessment of what could possibly happen and what has happened and my thoughts on Sean Payton. So I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm definitely not saying that I'm wrong. Let's see. I hope everyone had a good Mother's Day weekend. Jerry Poor. What's going on, Jerry? Man, shouts out to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers in the Who Dat Nation and around the world, man. Shouts out to my mom. I know she's probably watching this right now. I love my mom. Shouts out to my beautiful grandmother, who's the biggest diehard Saints fan that you're ever going to find. I love you all so much, and thank you for your support, and thank you for that passion, grandmama, that you instilled inside of me to do this on a consistent basis. I love you. All right. All right. Let's see. If you ask me, Alvin is the best running back in the NFC. That's Jamarcus Robinson. I'm not trying to be a homer here, but at the end of the day, if I had to pick one of the best running backs in the NFC, I'm going with Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey and Ezekiel Elliott are better running backs, in my opinion, right now than Alvin Kamara. Look, I love the Saints. I love Alvin Kamara. But as far as those guys being every down backs, as far as like them guys and what they bring to their team and how their team actually revolves around those guys, I have to give those guys the knock. But I'll say Alvin Kamara is probably coming in at number 3. I just got to be honest, man. He's not an every down back, and he doesn't take that much punishment the way that some of those other players do. So I'm not just going to say he's the best running back. I know you're probably not saying it, Jamarcus, but to me, I'm not just going to say that. And if I was saying it, I'd just be saying it because he plays for the Saints. But in my opinion, he's not. But he's one of them. Do you think he will resign? Bradley Ward, I think that he will sign. I think that he will sign back with the New Orleans Saints. First and foremost, is because of look what they did. Okay, they released Larry Warford. That freed up $7.7 million. You look at this NFL draft, they only drafted 4 guys. Okay, so that tells me right there that they're trying to build around the team that they actually have, and they're trying to save money. Okay, and you're saving money because you got to pay other guys. And that's what I feel like the Saints are going to do. I think that they're going to pay these guys. I think that Alvin Kamara is probably going to get about a 3 or 4 year deal, but he is going to be with the Saints for the foreseeable future, in my opinion. He does too many great things. Jared Poor, my dude TJ, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you, Jared. Let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit. I know I talked quite a bit, so I want to see what some people are saying. What's up with Iceman T? Oh, what's going on? I guess y'all shouting each other out there. Man, shouts out to Iceman, man. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to Iceman T's YouTube channel, man. Y'all check that man out. Y'all support. We want to support those in the Who Dat Nation. I appreciate everybody checking out the State of the Saints. But, man, let's check out some of these other cats, man, that's doing it too. Shouts out to my boy NOS. Man, shouts out to Deuce Wenham, man. Shouts out to all those guys, man. The Pro. Shouts out to his page as well. I think it's the Pro Media, if I'm not mistaken, man. Y'all check that guy out. Man, let's support some of these members of the Who Dat Nation, man, that's grinding hard, that's burning the midnight oil, man, trying to give you all the best intel on the New Orleans Saints. Like I said, I appreciate the love, But, man, I think there's much love to go around, man. There's never too much Saints talk. I feel like the Saints are probably one of those teams that don't get talked about enough. I'm glad that actually Tom Brady got into the division. That way that the NFL can shine their light on the Saints, a light that has been pretty bright for years, but nobody paid attention to. It's unfortunate that Tom Brady had to come into the division in order for the NFL to see that the NFC South has been running things for years. So, man, once again, man, support some of these people, man, that's out here grinding really hard on YouTube. And, man, support these guys, man. We're all members of the Who Dat Nation at the end of the day. Let's see. Marty Scheinheimer, for giving $5. Shouts out to Marty Ball. Thanks for the respect, TJ. As far as I'm concerned, you're the greatest Saints podcaster in history who never podcasted a Super Bowl. Man, thank you very much, Marty. Thank you very much. One day, hopefully I'll podcast the Super Bowl. Like hopefully we see the Saints in the Super Bowl soon. So I'll be able to, do it. But but Marty, man, you were a great coach. I would love to play for a coach like Marty Scheinheimer, man. Just looking at his football life, and it's unfortunate now, man. I know he's dealing with dementia, and but at the end of the day, man, was an incredible guy and an encouraging guy. And I know every player that ever played with him. Ironically, Drew Brees was actually one of his players. They always have something good to say about him, and he's one of the all-time greats, man. You don't have to win a Super Bowl to be an all-time great coach. That's what the media tells you, but he was an all-time great coach. I'm honestly tired of hearing about people constantly bringing up Bountygate. It happened, I don't want to hear about it either, but at the end of the day, it happened. And it's unfortunate. I feel like the Saints got the short end of the stick. I feel like they got pretty much got a bad hand if you compare to like some of these situations that happen out there in New England, how they just get a slap on the wrist, a first round pick get taken. But what's that to a giant? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that? Like these guys go to the Super Bowl every year. Most of the time they trade out of the first round. So you taking their first round pick, what that going to do to them? I feel like some suspension should have happened in New England, but we all know that the NFL loves themselves some New England Patriots, some Dallas Cowboys, some Philadelphia Eagles. They love those guys. Let's see. What is one of the holes we have on our team that needs to be fixed? And that comes from Does Kids. What holes need to be fixed? In my honest opinion, a hole that needs to be fixed on the Saints team has to be the secondary, the cornerback position. I feel like they need a little bit more depth. I feel like they need some rough riders, some dogs on the cornerback side of the football. Well, the cornerback position. I feel like they need to tighten that up just a tad bit. Guys are going to get nicked up. Guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to miss plays. I feel like the Saints need better rotation, and they need guys that can play on the inside as well as the outside. So that's why I feel like what's missing. I feel like that's what they need. Everything else, man, I think the Saints ready to rock and roll, in my honest opinion. I really feel that way. I feel like they're ready to rock and roll and ready for the season, man. I like some of the moves that they made. I like the fact that they brought a lot of players back. I know a lot of people are like confused, like what the heck going on? Why we bringing back some of these guys that did absolutely nothing, like Austin Carr and PJ Williams? But I mean, when you look at what's going on in the world today, it's better to have chemistry and have guys that you're familiar with than having all season with guys that you don't know that's going to come in and you don't know what their tendencies are. So I like the moves, but the secondary at the cornerbacks, I feel like needs to get fixed. Michael Alexander said, your thoughts? I still feel like we should make one more move like Logan Ryan or Griffin. Our defense is fine. What do you think? Man, throat raspy. Excuse me. All right, Logan Ryan. I like it. I like Logan Ryan. I think that he's a good cornerback. I think he also can play a little bit of safety. I don't know, man. Like I just feel like the Saints already got rid of Larry Warford because of money. Okay, they got rid of him because of money. So why would you want to go out here and get a guy that's probably going to demand a lot of money, on the open market? You get this guy in here, then you will have issues paying other players. So I'm not a fan of that, man. Like I'm not like, and honestly, I feel like the Saints already got their 1-2 punch. It's not like they struggling at the position so bad. Now, if they were struggling, then I'd be like, okay, man, let's go out here and try to get the guy. But I just feel like that'd be causing them some kind of cap issue down the line. And you got to pay some of these young players, man. You got to pay these guys. These are guys that can solidify positions for a long time with the New Orleans Saints. So why not go out here and spend a little bread on them? That's just the way I feel. Mike Evans donated $5. Thank you so much, Mike. Says, could you please tell Lattimore to leave his belt at home this season? I know he's going to spank me, and I don't want the welts to be too hard. Well, man, wow. Mike Evans, thank you very much. I hope you have a good season, man. In my opinion, as of right now, I feel like you're the second best wide receiver on your team. I'm just being honest. I think Chris Godwin got you a little bit. But hopefully Tom Brady can bring out the best in you, man. You can have a good season. Jermaine, man, what's going on? Jermaine Thomas, my guy, my frat brother, man. Shouts out to our Phi Theta fraternity, man. Donating $3 in the chat, man. Shouts out to him. Let's see. Sean Payton have trouble in the playoffs. Yeah, Sean Payton had trouble in the playoffs because he overthinks himself. Sean Payton constantly overthinks himself, and quite frankly, I'm just kind of over it. Y'all got to excuse me, man. I'm just kind of over the Sean Payton. You got to win something, man. You got to win. Winning didn't stop in 2009. Win something. That's all I'm saying. Like, win something. I don't know. Win something. I'm just tired of people keep on telling me about 2009. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of listening and talking about 2009. That's in the past. It's time for them boys to do something else, man. I'm tired of going at it with rival teams, and I keep on bringing up 2009 and talking about where your Super Bowl at. That's funny, but it's also kind of sad at times, man. I'm like, man, I got to keep on pulling this out to make myself feel better. Like, I want more. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it makes me feel good that we got one Super Bowl more than that team. But at the end of the day, man, I want to see some more. It's no excuse why the Saints have not been better than what they've been over the past few years, man. The team has been too good. Teams have been trying to find franchise quarterbacks for years. And here we are squandering the prime of one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever lived because we don't want to run the football or we don't want to fix the defense. Drew Brees, he holds a little bit of blame in that too, not willing to give up a little bit of money, not taking hometown discounts, trying to get the most on the open market. I feel like that kind of hurt him when it comes to offensive line late in 2012, 2013. But for the most part, man, it's been Sean Payton's fault, throwing the football all over the place. I feel like it's time out for that. I think it's time for them to understand that the way they're going to win is being balanced, running the football. There are going to be games where you're going to have to run the football more than throwing the football. It's like this dude refuses to run the football. Like, they can go up against a team that's ranked like second to last or last in run defense, and he's still going to be trying to throw the ball 40 times. I just don't get it. And every time I think about it, I'm like, man, how many Super Bowls could the New Orleans Saints have had if it wasn't for, just being cocky and arrogant and full of yourself? Shouts out to Josh and Jesus donating $5. He said, Quentin Stun, Austin Carr is the greatest wide receiver in Saints history. We can't win a single game without him. Yeah, I guess so. Like, he be in a game, but I guarantee you, man, he does his greatest Casper the Friendly Ghost impression I ever seen in my entire life, man. Like, because that man is nowhere to be found. When I see that man on the field, I'll be highly shocked. I'm like, did the dude play? Was he out there? You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't be seeing Austin Carr. every now and then you might see a catch come from him, or Drew Brees might throw it at his feet and they call his number. But I mean, I really don't be knowing he out there. I'm like, man, where this dude at? But I mean, I heard that his wife who was pregnant found out she had coronavirus, man, and I heard that she's doing fine. I heard the baby is doing fine. So, man, shouts out to Austin Carr. I'm glad that him and his family are doing fine, and congratulations on the new baby. And I hope you have a good season, man. I hope you have a good season moving forward. Once Austin Carr started to drop passes, I knew he had to go. Debo, I have to ask you, what passes did you see him drop? I don't know, what was it in warm-ups? Was it in practice? Did you have opportunity to go out to Metairie and check out training camp? Because I didn't see no catches or no passes thrown to him in a game. Like I said, every now and then you might see it, man. Like people talk about a rare side of the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot. They talk about stuff like that. Every now and then you might see an Austin Carr catch. It's kind of like that, like a meteor shower or a lunar eclipse or a falling star, something like that. Like that's when you'll see an Austin Carr catch. But besides that, I mean, I haven't seen one. But I heard like every time Austin Carr, catches a football, an Angel gets his wings. So man, the Angels need to step their game up because not many wings being get. Not many Angels getting their wings these days if they were dependent on Austin Carr. I tell you that. A lot of Angels are walking around heaven instead of flying. Debo, thank you very much for the $8. I believe Tom Brady will not be what Tampa thinks he will be at 43 years old. It's hard for me to see that. Yeah, man, I agree. Tom Brady, I don't think they're going to get the Tom Brady of old, but Tom Brady at this stage of his career is better than still about at least 15 starting quarterbacks in the league. So I don't know, man. We should have at least 2 championships easily. I say 3. We should have 3, at least 3. Okay, you got to count 2009, which we got one. You got to count the year they lost to the 49ers, and you got to count the year they lost to the Rams. I'm looking at 3. The Saints would have beat the Patriots, in my opinion. They would have beat the New England Patriots if they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That's just my honest opinion. I don't know if, honestly, I think they would have ended up playing the Patriots twice. I don't know if they would have beat the Patriots like the Giants did. The Giants lucked up and won that game, I think, in 2012. But they would have at least had 2 out of 3 Super Bowls, in my opinion. The 2009 Super Bowl, low-key a curse, because we should have at least 3. Yep, I agree. That's exactly what I just said. Would you sign Matthew Stafford next year? Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Man, would I sign Matthew Stafford? Absolutely. In a heartbeat. I would sign Matthew Stafford before I signed Aaron Rodgers, Jameis Winston, before I would sign a Cam Newton, before Matthew Stafford would be my quarterback. Matthew Stafford is one of the most underrated in the NFL. I'm going to look at the Matthew Stafford quarterbacks. He plays for the Detroit Lions. Suck. Do you hear me? They suck. They're not good. Matthew Stafford has been one of those guys who has been really, really good for years, but plays for the Lions. Throws for 5,000 yards, but he plays for the Lions. Can throw the deep ball with the best of them, but he plays for the Lions. I mean, Matthew Stafford, if he comes to the Saints, you can get rid of, honestly, in my opinion, you can get rid of Taysom Hill. You can get rid of Jameis Winston. You can let both of them cats walk. I would take Matthew Stafford before I take any one of those guys. And I guarantee you, if Matthew Stafford was playing for the Saints, the New Orleans Saints would make it to the Super Bowl. I honestly believe that. I really think he is that good. Okay, because I feel like the New Orleans Saints, with Sean Payton calling his plays, his ability to actually get the ball downfield, I think the Saints might have one of those Kansas City Chiefs offenses. That's how much I think about Matthew Stafford. That's how much respect I have for Matthew Stafford. Like, honestly, man, you can go ahead and get rid of Jameis Winston. You can get rid of Taysom Hill, in my opinion. I like him that much. I like him that much. Matthew Stafford, absolutely. San Fran ran the ball 50 plus against the Vikings and won easily, but Payton won't listen. Not having respect for your team, not having confidence in your offensive line, not leaning and not having enough confidence in your running game. If you're not going to do that, man, then, like I said, we playing ourselves. We playing ourselves, Who That Nation. We playing ourselves. If we feel like the Saints are going to win Super Bowls just throwing the football all over the place, you're wasting your time. Like, honestly, we're wasting our time. Like, it looks good. It makes us feel good. It makes us dance around our living room, you know what I'm saying? And, get our jig on or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what is it actually doing? Getting our hearts broken in the playoffs because the Saints can't get over the hump. I'm kind of over it, folks. I'm kind of over it. Like, if they're not trying to run a football, I feel like we're just wasting our time. Like, they're not going anywhere without running the football. Once again, they are not going anywhere if they do not run the football. If you're not committed to the run, you're wasting your time. Let's see. Seeing Carr completion is like seeing, I don't know, what is that? I don't even know what that is. A Chubara. I don't even know what that is. Somebody tell me what that is. If the Saints fall short, would it be out of place to reevaluate the coaching position? I wouldn't say after this year, but probably next year, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think you would, but I don't think that's going to happen, man. Gail Benson just loves Sean Payton too much. The city of New Orleans loves Sean Payton too much. I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to be like, please, man, don't get rid of Sean Payton, man. He won us a Super Bowl back in 1882. We need him. We back in the day, we ain't win nothing. Now we winning. Like, you always going to have those people, man, and I'm over it. Like, honestly, man, like, are we going to keep on evaluating that? Or are we going to still be going back digging in the crates, still trying to, like Richard Simmons used to do, sweat to the oldest? Are we still going to be sweating to the oldest like Richard Simmons? Are we going to be doing that? Somebody please tell me, okay? Because honestly, man, I like the oldies, man. Don't get me wrong, man. Look, I love the oldies. Growing up in the 90s, I feel like the 90s, even the 80s and the 70s, man, I consider myself an old soul. I like all that old Motown, you know what I'm saying? I like the Temptations. I like Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. I like a little disco, you know what I'm saying? Like Gloria Gaynor and stuff like that. I Will Survive in the 80s. I love Run DMC in the 90s. That was my era. I was a big R&B fan. I love that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, sometimes you want to hear something new, okay? You want to hear a new joint. Every now and then you're riding in the car, you want to hear some of that new stuff, okay? Some of the new stuff may not sound as good as the old stuff, but it's still new. And I feel like I'm tired of talking about the old stuff. I'm tired of talking about back in the day. I'm tired of talking about when the Saints won the Super Bowl in 2009. And, like, it's cool, man. Like, I was happy. I jumped around my living room. I was glued to the TV because I never thought that I would see that in my lifetime. But, man, it's time to start winning again. It's time to start getting some championships. For real. I'm tired of talking about the same old song and dance. You think Dante Harris is going to play offense this year? Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to take a step forward. I think, like, if you looked at Deontay Harris late in the season, you notice that the Saints were using him and utilizing him in different ways. So I feel like his emergence and his development kind of made Ted Ginn Jr. Release inevitable or re-signing inevitable. I think that wasn't going to happen. So I think Deontay Harris, what he showed, the Saints were like, okay, I think we can put him in a Teddy Ginn role. So, yeah, I think he's going to do more. Sean Payton is a great coach, but his ego is enormous. Yeah, his ego is enormous. He's extremely petty. He's extremely arrogant. He's full of himself. He thinks he's always right. He gets mad at the media when they lose a game. He don't want to answer no questions. It's amazing to me. Like, when the Saints lose, his press conference is about 2 minutes. When they win, the press conference is about 15 minutes, okay? Because he wants to beat himself on the chest. He wants to talk. He wants to laugh and all that kind of stuff. And look, I get it. You don't want to talk when you're angry and you're lost. But at the same time, man, keep that same energy, But you can't, just think that you're always right. Me personally, man, I just think the Saints need another voice in the locker room at the offensive coordinator position. I feel like there's too many guys just alike in the Saints organization. There's not that rebel or that rogue that will speak against what something Sean Payton is doing. I feel like somebody like Pete Carmichael is just riding the coattails, just happy he can roll to the Saints facility and his key card could work. I don't think that he really puts in no work. I really don't feel like he implements any plays. And if he does, Sean asks him what he thinks, he's like, yeah, I like it. I like it, even though he may not like it. Okay, but I feel like they need a different voice. They need some new faces in there and some new feedback. Let's see. Who that? What's good, TJ? Angel the 27. Thank you very much, man. What's going on with you? Let's see. Can't wait to see Emmanuel Butler shine. Yeah, I can't wait to see that too. I hope Emmanuel Butler have a good season. I've been seeing him work out in the offseason. It looked like he's got a little bit stronger. Hopefully he got a little bit more physical, man. He worked on his blocking game in the offseason, and he's ready to rock and roll. We need to stop it. We need to step it up this year. Yeah, I agree, man. We need to step it up, and we need to be a little bit more aggressive. That's what we need to do. Bruh, on Sean Payton, on Sean Payton head. I love it. Man, look, I just got to be real. I just got to be real. I know this topic is supposed to be about Alvin Kamara, but of course, I'm reading from the comments, so I'm going to respect you all and answer your questions and read your statements. But we just got to call it for what it is, man. Sean Payton has been wetting the bed for a while, okay? And I know when I hear somebody, on Facebook, when I post this, people going to be crying and whining and boo-hooing. And, you talking about my coach? Why you talking about my coach? He won us a Super Bowl. What we was doing before he got here. You always going to have those people right there, man. And my all-time favorite, yeah, y'all ain't no real ass. Y'all don't know the game. Sean Payton know the game. You don't know the game. You just stand in front of the video camera and talk. You don't know nothing. You ain't never did nothing. Okay. But keep on allowing this to happen to you. Keep on having your heart yanked up out of your chest year after year and keep on saying, I believe we coming back. We going to be back and better than ever. We going to be back. We going to win a Super Bowl 5 more times next year. We going to be winning every year because I believe the Saints are the best team on planet Earth. And Sean Payton, I know he ran the football when it was 4th and 22, and he threw the football when it was 4th and 1, but we still go win the Super Bowl. That just going to happen. Look, I love y'all fans. I love the passion, but some of you all are really delusional, really delusional. Honestly, not all of you, but some of you are really delusional. And if you think that your fandom is defined by you shutting the hell up when teams are screwing up and it's obvious, then you, sir, are a moron. Okay, that's just what it is. For real. If you cannot, honestly, this is equivalent to not wanting to chastise your kids because you love them. Okay, you love them. That's why you chastise them. That's why you tell them, don't go over there. Don't go to that house. Don't go down the street. Don't go into there. Don't touch that. That's why you tell them that, because you're trying to keep them from avoiding danger. Okay, that's why you say these things. I'm not saying that I know more football than Sean Payton. I do not. But at the same time, man, I think I'm pretty damn qualified to talk sports. I think you all are pretty damn qualified to talk sports, okay? If you have been a Saints fan, I don't care if it's been 3-4 years, you're emotionally invested in this team. So since I'm emotionally invested in this team, since I love the Saints, I'm going to talk my talk, okay? And I have to be honest with you, man. A lot of things that I be seeing coming down these comments, I'm going to be real. They looking legit. And some of the things people say, man, they be coming to fruition. And so are we wrong? Okay. For giving our opinion? No. No, not at all. I mean, we're just fans at the end of the day. Man, so I sound like Blank Man. Blank Man? Nah, I don't think I sound like, maybe look like Blank Man with the glasses on, but I don't know about sounding. J5. Let's see. What's up with Trequan, man? Also, will Trotman take Josh Hill's spot? What's wrong with Trequan Smith? This is what's wrong with Trequan Smith. He's soft. The end. As far as your question with Trotman, yes, he will start over Josh Hill. Sorry, Josh Hill. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to solidify yourself. I remember when Jimmy Graham left, everybody like Josh Hill, pick him in fantasy because he about to step it up. Josh Hill, an incredible blocking tight end, great on the goal line, great on that little short wheel route he does when he starts streaking down the sidelines. But besides that, what have you done, my friend? What have you done? Okay. Like he is a great weapon to have because once again, tight ends are supposed to block. He does well doing that. But as far as pass catching, as far as like being aggressive, as far as like taking over a game, like you'll see out of a Kelsey or seeing, out of some of these other tight ends out here, man, you're not seeing that from him. So I feel like Adam Trotman, the guy is built like Rob Gronkowski. I see Rob Gronkowski all over this dude. For real. I see Rob Gronkowski all over Adam Trotman. If Adam Trotman does not end up being similar to a Rob Gronkowski, it's because he didn't allow himself to do so. Period. But I do think he's going to start over Josh Hill. You do not give up your fourth, your 6th, and your 7th round pick. Your 4th, your 5th, and your 7th in order for you to get a guy for him not to start. He's definitely going to start. Trequan got to go. I don't know, man. It might be a last year. Trequan going to break out with Sanders. What? Taking him under the wing. I look, Invictus, I love you, man. But no, he not. No, he not, man. No, he not. Look, he's soft. I like him, but he's soft. He's soft. He is soft, dude. He is soft. That's the only word I can say to describe him. He's soft. On the line of scrimmage, he gets bullied. On the line of scrimmage. Look, anybody go back. I want everybody to go back because what I'm saying right now probably make me sound like a huge hypocrite. Couple months ago, I talked about Trequan Smith. I'm like, give him a chance. Sean Payton really wasn't really calling his number. If Sean Payton actually called his number, maybe he'll do something. You can go ahead and eliminate all that. I went back and I watched some tape. I watched 8 different Saints games, okay? 8 different Saints games that focus on Trequan Smith, okay? Trequan Smith, I did nothing but watch him go up against corners and safeties. He was getting bullied. He was getting pushed around. The dudes was winning hand fights. They were pushing him around like he was a rag doll. Soft. That's what his problem is. He has to get bigger, in the legs. The legs and the quads. Because dudes are pushing him around too much, man. He was already like he's very top heavy, man. He's like a muscular guy up top, but he has like skinny, scrawny basketball type baseball legs, man. Man, you got to be able to push guys around, man. You got to be able to explode off the football. His explosion is lackluster, man. His footwork is questionable to say the least. Like, man, honestly, don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Go back and watch some Trequan Smith games. Don't fall in love with the game. because it's easy to get wrapped up in a game. Watch this guy work. Watch him on the side. Watch him go up against corners and safeties. Watch his footwork. Anybody that has played the game of football, anybody that has watched the game of football, you will see what I'm talking about. And this is something that I said. Sean Payton even said this. He talked about Trequan Smith. He talked about his footwork. He talked about his explosion off the football. The guy needs to get in the weight room, need to stop lifting them 20s and them 25s, need to stop skipping leg day and go to work. That's his problem. If he does that, if he can get physical, man, if he can work on his hands, not like catching the ball, but at the line of scrimmage, man, hey, bro, you got to win at the line. Like, honestly, man, these guys be hand fighting, man. You got to be able to win at the line. You got to control getting off the ball. You got to make sure that the corners are not pushing you around. And it's a doggone shame, man, because Trequan Smith is about 213. You're letting some guys like in the slot nickel corners are like 170, 180 soaking wet. You're letting a 180-pound dude push you around, and you got like a 30, 35-pound advantage over him. Soft. That's his problem. I'm being 100. I'm being 100 today, folks. I'm being 100. Hey, TJ, now that the 2020 schedule released, what will the Saints record be? The Saints record will be 11-5. Jerry, I did a prediction on the schedules. Check it out, man. But I got them going 11-5. I think the Saints not going to be able to replicate those 13-3 seasons. I think they're going to lose 5 games this season. And I think they still going to win the division. I think the Carolina Panthers and the Buccaneers are going to be tied at 10-6. And that team is going to be 8-8. We gave up a kidney and a firstborn for Trotman. He better be a game changer this year. I believe so, Derek. I believe so. He's worth it. Our ceiling is 14-2. I like that optimism, man. I hope you're right. Trequan is stiff. Yep. But he's speedy, and Drew likes him. Deebo Samuel was just like Trequan, but even worse. But once Sanders got traded to the 49ers, I feel the same can happen to Smith. And Invictus, I have to disagree with you on that one, man. Deebo Samuels was good anyway, okay? He put the work in. He was working out. He got himself physical. He got himself strong. Trequan Smith is speedy, but I hate to say it, when have we seen that speed? You can't see that speed because he's not winning at the line of scrimmage. We don't know how fast this guy is because he's not winning at the line of scrimmage. And I'm tired of people making excuses for this guy. I was one of them. I'm tired of myself for making excuses for him. It's time to step up, man. Like, honestly, it's time to really start holding these guys accountable for not being able to do what they need to do. Trequan Smith has too much speed. He has too much promise for him to allow these small, insignificant cornerbacks and safeties to run him down. It is what it is. It's about that time. It's about that time for him to step it up. That's my honest opinion. He needs to step it up. It's time for us to stop, babying these dudes and protecting these dudes when they're the ones out here, like, they need to be stepping it up. And what I've seen out of those games that I watched, that ain't it. That ain't it. That is not it. I'm sorry, folks. Trequan looked like he runs a 4.6. He runs faster than that, man. But like I said, you're losing at the line of scrimmage. You'll never know who makes the team from the undrafted free agent roster. I think you got Marques Callaway. I think he's one. Juwan Johnson is another. I think Roach from Texas is another one. The rest of those guys, I don't know. Thomas Stevens, even though he was drafted, I think he'll make the practice squad. The Saints don't really need that much help at other positions, man. Like, so I think those other guys probably going to end up on the practice squad. What makes it worse is that Trequan is surrounded by greatness. Alvin, Mike, Drew, and Payton, and all at his disposal. He can ask Drew what he needs to do to get open and build trust. You know what really ticks a quarterback off? Y'all want to know what really ticks a quarterback off? What really ticks a quarterback off is when a player is out of position. Drew Brees, I would see Drew Brees telling Trequan Smith to get into position. I've seen Drew Brees, like honestly, I've seen Drew Brees get mad at the fact that Trequan Smith wasn't where he needed to go and he needed to call a timeout. I seen Drew Brees like have to tell Trequan Smith to shift field from the left to the right. I don't know what's going on, man. Like I said, I don't know. Like I know this is not the beat up the Trequan Smith show, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I went back and I watched this dude, and he just had so much promise, man. Like he had so much promise, but you gotta want it. And the realization of it, who that nation is, everybody don't come into the league trying to make the Hall of Fame. They don't. The Hall of Fame is not on the mind. Rather it be making a lot of money for your family, rather it be for the prestige, for the being a public figure, to get the girls, the Instagram models. It's more than just wanting to be great. I think we think guys, come into the league because they want to be the greatest, but it has to be something inside of you. And if you don't have it, it can't be taught. It can't be bought. It can't be given to you in a seminar. It can't be given to you at practice. It has to be in here. And if you don't have it in here, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting the team's time. You're wasting the coach's time. And he has all the tools, man. But I don't know what it is. The only thing I can come up with until he changes my mind is that he's soft. Sorry, it is what it is. We are deeper at all positions than anyone in the league. Yeah, I agree with that. I like people that accidentally walk through glass. They are awesome. No separation. I think Trequan Smith is lazy, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know. I can't do it, folks. I can't do it tonight. I can't do it. I can't take up for people that I can't explain. I can't do it. I want Brees to be more fiery like that Titan game last year. I hate how nice he is. I think Drew is a competitor, man. I think he is. Look, Drew is a competitor. I don't want to say he's a nice guy on the field, man. I see him getting in guys' faces. I see him really holding guys accountable. But I don't know, man. I just need to see more out of the Saints team as far as the offensive line being aggressive. I think the offensive line sometimes can get bullied by teams. I think they're a little bit too finesse for my liking. I want, let's see. You're right. Trequan Smith is our slot with no separation. Nope. Callaway is going to be better than Trequan. Book it. If he is, you're going to say bye to Trequan. When Sean Payton go, Saints will go back to 7-9. Team, good coaches are hard to find, so enjoy while you can, or mistakes happen in the game. So we just got to see what the future holds. We riding this bus for now. Brian Adams, man, look. You said when Sean Payton go, the Saints will go back to 7-9. Well, I disagree with that. You saying good coaches are hard to find, but like I hate to say it, but that's the type of mentality that keeps teams at the same level that they always be at. Not being able to look towards the future, not being able to wonder, like, can a team get better? Always afraid to, see what's behind that door. Now, I'm not saying that the Saints need to do that now, but if Sean Payton continuously not get the Saints over the hump, not being able to help them, get where they need to be, then why shouldn't he be evaluated like some other coach? You think if we was in New York or if it was in Philly or in Dallas or some of these other places, you think that this type of mind frame would be going on? Heck nah, okay? It's just the fact, once again, I'm calling for what it is. Because the Saints were losers, that's the reason why people don't want to critique Sean Payton. Now, if the Saints were like a team that won 5 Super Bowls before Sean Payton even arrived, do you think we'll have this mind frame? Huh? Do you think we'll have this mind frame, or just the fact that we were terrible all those years and we were afraid to tell people that we were Saints fans, and we were afraid to wear our Saints memorabilia, our paraphernalia on our bodies? Now we can talk noise and we can pump up our chest and we can go out here and talk noise to an Atlanta Falcon fan, or excuse me, that team fan. We feel like that's cool. But we feel like that type of power will be taken away from us if Sean Payton was to leave the Saints. I don't believe that. Sorry, I don't believe that. Okay, I think that the Saints would be okay. I think they would be. I think that they could get a coach up in here that can still coach them. I ain't saying that Sean Payton is need to go, but if he can't get the job done, then why not be able to evaluate him and think about going in another direction? Other teams do it. I mean, we seen the Giants get rid of Tom Coughlin, who had 2 Super Bowls, right? I mean, we seen the Cincinnati Bengals get rid of Marvin Lewis. This man went to the playoffs 11 times. Now, he didn't win, but at the same time, like, he made the playoffs. And the Bengals were a respectable team. But now look at them. So, I don't know. So if they're going to evaluate those guys, then why not Sean Payton? Sean won't get Logan Ryan. The money is for a 2017 draft class. I agree. Don't waste your money on Logan Ryan. The Saints are an established organization at this point, thanks to Sean Payton right now. So that's false. They're established organization because of Sean Payton. Yeah, that's true. But even the Cowboys got rid of Tom Landry. I mean, come on now. Even the Pittsburgh Steelers got rid of Chuck Noll. Okay? Even the Miami Dolphins. Well, he retired. Rest in peace to Don Shula. But you know what I'm saying? Like, even some of the greatest coaches of all times, they end up, getting released by their team. So what makes that any different? I just need people. Like I said, I'm not saying that I'm right, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just throwing it out there. If Payton was not the coach, who would it be? Let's see. By the way, it takes time to develop as a wide receiver. Not 13 is a once-in-a-lifetime player. Brian Adams, no person is bigger than the franchise. If Payton was not the coach, then who would it be? I don't know. I don't know who would it be. But who's to say that if the Saints were to get another coach, they wouldn't be just as good as Sean Payton? See, that's how our mind works, man. Like, we just automatically just think it'll never get no better. It's almost like somebody who been in a relationship for a long period of time. You've been with that same person all those years and y'all break up. And you're wondering to yourself, like, man, I don't think I can ever find anybody that can complete me like that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, you get in another relationship and the other person that you thought you couldn't live without, you're living without. You're getting with somebody else. So who's to say, man? It's just like that right now because you're in a relationship. Who's to say that it wouldn't work out if you were to move on? I'm just saying, as far as the wide receivers are concerned, like you said, it take a while for them to develop. Michael Thomas is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. I agree with that, as far as his work ethic and drive, but God dog, man. Trequan Smith, what, he going on his 3rd or his 4th year or something like that, if I'm not mistaken? Like, come on, man. How long do you need in order for you to get separation on a route? Like, God dog. It's not like we asking him to go out here and be Megatron. You know what I'm saying? We just need him to get off the ball. You know, like it take 3-4 years for you to get separation. God dog, man. Jeez, at this rate, you know what I'm saying? He gonna get 1,000 yards by his 11th season. Like, come on, man. We gotta step it up. Like, let's stop making excuses for these guys. Come on, man. Like, seriously. Moving on, man. Even the Cowboys got rid of Tom Landry. Exactly. Not true. The Mike Dick and Aaron Brooks era was embarrassing. Oh, yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Mike Dicker, that was the dark ages right there. Please don't mention Aaron Brooks. Oh, my goodness. Now we done moved on to Aaron Brooks. I will not jump in that conversation. Like, we ain't got enough time. I'll be, boy. Y'all think the Cesar Ruiz rant was epic. Let's we won our first playoff game without Sean Payton. Yeah, Jim Haslett was the coach. I was actually at that game, man. I was 13 years old when that happened. I was at that game too. Do you think our defense will be better this year? They played lights out when Teddy was quarterback. Yeah, I hope so. I hope they do. If they play like they did when Teddy Bridgewater was in, then we'll be all right. If they play, well, I don't want to diss the defense because they played pretty good throughout the season. They just gave up some big plays late in games. You know, if they clean that up, they'll be okay. That's offsides, win the bowl, good coach mind. Yeah, I mean, Sean Payton is a good coach. He is, man. But what have you done for me lately? Ain't that the name of the game? What have you done for me lately? I mean, it ain't about just winning one time, okay? I mean, you gotta be able to win more than one time, okay? Aaron Brooks smiling to the sidelines after throwing a pick or fumbling in the fourth quarter. Yeah, man, that used to get me. Like, what the hell are you smiling at? Like, you just threw a pick, the ugliest pick. Like, nobody was even in the vicinity, man. It like the interception looked like a punt return. That's what it looked like. And you up there smiling. I ain't understanding, man. Remember when the Saints were a full-quarter team? Yeah, I remember that. I remember. Now they're they're a second half team, but they only play one half. Like, they be struggling in the first half, and then they play real good in the third quarter. And about 14 minutes and 50 seconds into the fourth quarter, like it's amazing, man. It is amazing. But I love them, man. I love them. They just need to finish strong, bro. I was only 10 watching it on TV. That's when I first became a Saints fan. Yeah, man. You're talking about that playoff game. Like I said, I was 13. I think I got the tickets like through a school or something like that, if I'm mistaken. Shouts out to my old coach Charles Alexander, a guy who used to take me to all the Tulane games, man, and also, man, some of the Saints games. So I think he was the one that gave me the tickets, and I think I went with my Uncle Jerry, and we set up in the skybox, and man, we had a good time. And we had a great time. Let's see. They got hyped at the end of the third. Callaway has better ball skills than Trequan and a better as a deep threat. Well, that needs to be seen in NFL. So until he performs in NFL, I'm giving a notch to Trequan Smith. That's just the way it goes. Not the San Francisco game. Last year, Debo Kittle got us last play. Yep. Always happen that way, man. Always the tight end. Always the tight end at the end of games. If y'all noticed that, Vernon Davis, George Kittle, it was Everett in the Los Angeles Rams game. Well, it wasn't Stephon Diggs. He was the only wide receiver, but it's always a tight end. Always a tight end. TJ, would you do, let me see, what would you do with extra cap money from the Larry Wolford cut? Try to sign Ryan Ramczyk and Kamara and Lattimore. That's what I try to do. Well, you already got those guys on their 50 option, so try to get Kamara his money. That's what I try to do. That's definitely what I try to do. I don't understand what the problem is. Regular season, your arguments are silly. No. Let's see. It was regular season. let's see, tight end means your linebackers got beat. Or safeties, Debo, or safeties. You gotta remember, man. We love him, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he got beat on that out route. You know what I'm saying? And Marcus Williams, who decided to go for a ride on the back of George Kittle. So, it's not always the tight end. I mean, linebackers. TJ, what do you think about the Saints would be like today if the Saints didn't sign Brees and drafted Bush with Brooks staying, and instead of drafting a Bush, we drafted Vince Young? Well, I'll be honest with you. If the Saints didn't get Drew Brees and they decided to go with Aaron Brooks, I don't think Aaron Brooks will be the quarterback. I think the Saints probably would have been rolling with Mark Brunell as the quarterback. If Vince Young was with the Saints, I honestly feel like he probably would have been still in the league. Okay, I don't know if he would have been leading the Saints to the Super Bowl or anything like that, but he definitely would have still been in the league. Jeff Fisher is a career killer. He's a quarterback killer. He's a guy that destroys guys' dreams, okay? Guys that could be great, they look mediocre when Jeff Fisher is the coach, all right? Jeff Fisher has ruined the career, or could possibly have ruined the career, of a Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was not as good as he was when Jeff Fisher was his coach, okay? He ruined the career of Vince Young because he did not like Vince Young. He didn't have the patience for Vince Young. Steve McNair, okay? I feel like Steve McNair carried that boy, okay? He carried him, okay, because he was such a durable guy. Steve McNair used to get misused and abused by defenses, stay getting sacked, stay getting hurt, because Jeff Fisher did not put a good offensive line in front of this dude. If it wasn't for Eddie George being a big physical back, man, I tell you, it would have been some dark, very dark days in Tennessee. Jeff Fisher is the most overrated head coach in the history of the NFL. Overrated. And I feel like Vince Young, if he would have played for the Saints, Sean Payton would have utilized his skill set, and I feel like he would have been a much better quarterback. Straight up. I mean, that dude was overrated. Straight up, 100% overrated. Vince Young would have been a better pro if he would have been playing for the Saints. And just don't take my word for it. Go back and look at what some of the former players that was under Jeff Fisher say about him before anybody says that I'm wrong. Okay, and you could say I'm wrong, which it don't matter. You know, we're all entitled to our opinion, but they got some stuff to say about it. Yeah, Vince Young went to the worst possible coach. Yep. Reggie won. Let me see. Reggie wasn't a bust at all, but that wasn't half the player he was supposed to be. Reggie Bush was a bust. Reggie Bush was a bust if you want to look at what he was supposed to be. Okay. I can understand people saying that Reggie Bush was a bust. Okay. I get it. Because when he came into the league with so much fanfare. Everybody wanted to sign Reggie Bush. He was the most exciting player in college football, and he landed with the New Orleans Saints. And we just thought that he was just going to be the greatest running back of all time. So on that scale, yes, he was a bust, but he did okay. He was an okay player. But if you want to be honest, man, Pierre Thomas was better than him in the Saints uniform. Pierre Thomas was better than Reggie Bush. If we want to be real with it, Pierre Thomas was better. And if Reggie Bush wasn't Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas would have been a starter. And in a lot of games, Pierre Thomas was the starter. So if it was up to me, I guess you want to put it in that sense, then he was a bust. He definitely wasn't better than Pierre Thomas. Like, be honest with you. I want the chat to tell me right now. If you had a choice, and let's just say, for example, Reggie Bush or Pierre Thomas, you had opportunity to draft them, knowing what you know right now, which one you would have drafted. That's all I want to know. Out of Pierre Thomas, Reggie Bush, you had to pick. Who would you pick? Would it be Bush? Would it be Pierre Thomas? Which one were you going to go with? Reggie, the reason we won the Super Bowl. No, he wasn't. Reggie Bush was not the reason we won the Super Bowl. Reggie Bush had one game against the Arizona Cardinals, which the Saints blew out Arizona. So if you deduct those 2 touchdowns, the Saints still would have won by least, you know what I'm saying, would have still blew them out. You know, like I said, I'm not taking it away from him. He did bring the wood and all that kind of stuff there. But come on, man. Like, man, nah. Reggie had one good game. Now he the reason why we wouldn't. No, sir. Not buying that. Thomas was the screen king. Yes, he was. And he can run between the tackles. And he was the first player in the Saints history to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Reggie Bush can't say that. And I love Reggie. I really do. But if I know what I know now, I would have picked Pierre Thomas over Reggie Bush. Let's see. Darren Sproles had more rushing yards for the Saints than Reggie did. Yep. I would choose Darren Sproles over Reggie Bush all day. I love Reggie. I do. I love Reggie. Reggie is the man, okay? We all love Reggie Bush, but let's be honest. Pierre Thomas was a better Saint than Reggie Bush was. He was. Pierre Thomas' screen game was sick. Greatest screen runner I ever seen. Greatest runner of the screen I ever seen. Now, Mark Ingram kind of came on later in his career. Like Mark Ingram was Mark Ingram was the man. Mark Ingram was the man in the screen game his last 2 years with the Saints. Bush was a superstar. TJ, you sipping. A superstar of what? A superstar of what? In college, yes. In the NFL, no. Stop it, Ernest. You my guy, but stop it. Dude was not a superstar in the NFL. How many Pro Bowls this dude went to? How many All-Pros he had? Come on now. Now we talking about college. Yes. Dude was a beast, okay? He was the truth in college. But a superstar in the NFL? Hell no. Hells to the no. That man was not a superstar in the NFL. Was not. And I love him. Shouts out to you, Ernie. Shouts out to your brother. But he was not a superstar. Is not a superstar. He was a decent player. He was an above average player. But he was not a superstar in the NFL. Reggie Bush wasn't soft. I will say he wasn't soft, Ernest. He was not soft. But he wasn't as good as people thought he was going to be. Reggie Bush was not the key. No, he definitely was not. Mike Bell went harder than him that year. I kind of disagree with that one. Mike Bell, he did some good things. He was a thumper, but nah. USC Bush and NFL Bush are not the same. Who that nation? Thank you very much. We take players and we talk about what they did in college, and we think that we apply that to the pros. No, sir. Okay. If that's the case, then we'll be praising Tim Tebow. Okay. We'll be praising Ndamukong Suh like always. Hells to the nah. He was not a superstar. Tim, thank you very much for the $5. I think our best running back was Chris Ivory. His yards were ridiculous. Yeah. Chris Ivory, to me, did bring the Saints running backs out of the dark ages. I think for a long time, the Saints running backs didn't have a run longer than 40-plus yards. He had like a 78-yard touchdown one game. If he wouldn't have got hurt, who knows where he would have been. But you know, you got to stay on the field. Best ability is availability, and he did not have that. Okay, so I liked him. I respect him. I think he would have been really, really good as a pro if he would have stayed healthy. But he did some good things. So the scat back is not the key to what to Sean's offense. The scat back is not the key. Yeah, the key, a key, you know what I'm saying, but it's not the key. All right, so the scat back, you know what I'm saying, as far as like with Reggie Bush, nah, bro. Reggie Bush did some good things, man. Like I said, every now and then you'll see Reggie making a play. You'll see him, you know, catch a check down play and turn it into a few yards. But Reggie, man, honestly, man, he just wasn't it, bro. Like, he just wasn't it. Like, I like him, but he just was not it, bro. Like, he was average, above average as a Saints player, man. Darren Sproles was better than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like when the Saints had Pierre Thomas in the game, he was running, the defense was running better. Reggie Bush, like, I don't know, man. Reggie Bush just generated excitement in the Who Dat Nation. That's what it was. Like, when he get the ball, just the thought of him actually doing something with it excited the Who Dat Nation. But, you know, like, we always pick one guy, you know what I'm saying, like that we really go hard for. Now it's like Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is the guy. It was Reggie Bush. Like, Reggie Bush wasn't all that in the Saints uniform. He wasn't. He was not all that. I seen better. You know, Deuce McAllister was better. You know, Pierre Thomas was better. Darren Sproles was better. You know, Let's see. Tim Hightower had a few good games though. So yeah, Tim Hightower did good. Let's draft Travis Etienne next year instead of paying Alvin. What do you think? I disagree. I like Travis Etienne, but dude need to get better at the blocking game. He need to get better as a blocker. He need to get better as a pass catcher. He needs to get better with his lower body strength. I'm looking for those three things when he comes back to Clemson. If he does that, then maybe we can talk. But I would not get rid of Alvin Kamara for Travis Etienne. No, I would not. Do you know if you take away Thomas' stats of the Saints, he still leads the league in yards and catches that year? Man, for real? Wow. Man, that's crazy. Bush was not a great running back, but a really good Saint. Yeah, I agree, Tim. You're absolutely right. Thank you for the $2, brother. I agree. I respect the hell out of Reggie Bush. I respect him. I do. I like Reggie Bush a lot. Good dude, good solid dude. Gave money, you know what I'm saying, to fix up Tag Arnold Stadium. You know what I'm saying? Once again, did some great things, man, and I respect the hell out of him. But I mean, he wasn't a great Saint. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could think of plenty more guys that were better than he was in the Saints uniform. It's just what he stood for. He was a symbol of change. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what it was. He was a symbol of change. We were going through a tough time in New Orleans. Katrina was going on. You know, we didn't know if the city was going to come back, and the Saints drafting him kind of symbolized hope. And, you know, just like we used to hope he used to run for 100 yards, or hope that he would take over a game. And he had a few games he took over, man. I can remember that Monday Night Football game against Minnesota when he almost ran back 3 punts, but he ran back 2. I remember the game with Arizona. I remember the game winner when he ran the punt back against Tampa Bay. That was his first touchdown in the Saints uniform. I get all that, man, but, bro, it takes more than just a few little sprinkles of greatness for me to be like, oh, man, this dude was just awesome. Theo Riddick took Reggie Bush's place. Yep, he did. Our best year was always when we had a scat back. Reggie, Sproles, AK, are we watching the same game? What that mean? What that mean? I want to know what that mean. Look more and more like a bust. Let's see. I want to know what that mean though. We had our best years when we had a scat back. But does that mean that like they're the greatest player on the field? I mean, does that mean that they're the best player? I don't know, man. I don't know what that means. I mean, yeah, they checked the ball out of the backfield, but man, Reggie Bush wasn't all that. I'm sorry. We agree to disagree. A change to winning, not losing. Let's see. Reggie did have special sightings of greatness and had an excitement to him. Yeah, I agree with that, Debo. He definitely did. Like he can excite you like no another. Like when he makes a play, it meant more to me than a Meacham or a Colston or a Henderson. You know what I'm saying? When he made a play, you know, it generated so much electricity, man. Like I just get chills just thinking about some of the plays he made, but bruh, you know, like you need, like honestly, man, look, if you're gonna eat a steak, you need a little bit more than just a few sprinkles of salt on that mug for the taste to kick off. You know what I'm saying? You can't just, you know, put a little bit of flake on that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you might get one spot to taste real good. You know what I'm saying? But you have a whole nother piece of steak there. You know what I'm saying? Piece of steak that you need to handle. So those little pieces, they did feel good when it happened. But at the same time, man, it was too few and far in between. Best power running back for the Saints. Let's see. From head. Let's see. Best power running back for the Saints. Ironhead. Okay, my bad. I'm looking at this screen, man. It's kind of far off. I apologize. Yeah, Ironhead Haywood, man. Shouts out to Ironhead. Rest in peace. Yeah, man. He was a thumper too, man. Did Reggie Bush win Rookie of the Year and have 1,500 scrimmage yards like Alvin? No, I don't think so. Nope. Man, Reggie Bush like wouldn't even. I don't even think he was like the top 7 or top 8. Might not even been the top 10 rookies in the league that year. Alvin is more along a physical runner than Bush. Yep. Kamara can run between the tackles. He can run between the tackles, run on the outside, and catch the ball out of the backfield. Reggie, the only thing he was trying to do was trying to get to the outside to try to beat the linebackers, but he realized that linebackers are faster in the NFL. You know, so that's all he tried to do. He wasn't trying to run between the tackles. He did in Miami. You know, he tried to prove he was a every down back, but it almost killed him to do that. And he barely cracked 1,000 yards that year. I think he had like 1,009 yards or something like that. Robert Meacham, a bust in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with that. First round pick. The only thing you did was run street routes. Yeah, I agree. Bust. This is like who better, Kobe or Magic? Not really, man. Not really. Not really. I wouldn't even compare those guys. Deuce will always be the GOAT running back. Yep. Deuce McAllister. Yep. He's always gonna be one of the best. Is Michael Thomas better than Colston? Yeah. Yes, he is. In my opinion, he is. I think he's a better player than Marques Colston is. Not to say that Marques Colston wasn't good, you know, but Michael Thomas is better. Reggie delivered the ring, though. Nah, Drew Brees delivered the ring, though. Drew Brees at the time had more completions than any other quarterback in Super Bowl history at that time. Drew Brees had one of the highest passing percentages in playoff history during that run with the Saints. I mean, that the Saints had in 2009. You know, like I said, Reggie Bush had one good game, okay? He had one game against the Arizona Cardinals. Didn't really do much in that Minnesota game. He did score a touchdown, you know. Drew Brees threw him a touchdown, but You have to say that Drew Brees was on another level in that playoffs, man. He was on another level. That Robert Meacham touchdown, though. Yeah. Robert Meacham, yeah, he was the king of the street routes. And also when he ripped the ball out that Redskin player hand and ran it in for a touchdown, we're gonna always remember that. Bush did not get us the ring. You're not proving a point. Michael Thomas, his 2 times better than Colston. Michael Thomas is more explosive than Colston. I don't even want to say that. I think they ran like the same type of speed. It's just I feel like Thomas is a little bit more physical than Marques Colston was. Marques Colston was more like a finesse receiver. You know, he get where he need to be. You know, fundamental. Marques Colston to me is the Tim Duncan of wide receivers. Okay, if I can say that, like he's like the Tim Duncan of wide receivers. Like you know how Tim Duncan, they call him the big fundamental. Okay, because he's just a classic throwback type basketball player. Now he's not gonna wow you with his dunking ability. You know, he not gonna, you know what I'm saying, like shoot no 3 from the outside and nothing like that. He's a guy that's a solid rebounder. You know, he gonna shoot that ball off the backboard. He gonna give you about 24 and 12 a night. You know, that's kind of what Marques Colston was. He was a fundamental wide receiver. You know, he's not gonna wow you. He's not gonna catch no one-hand snag or nothing like that. Be like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing like that. It's just like when you're throwing the ball, he gonna catch it. He gonna get some yards. He might go all the way every now and then. You know what I'm saying? But he was a fundamental wide receiver, and you know, I feel like he was very underrated as a wide receiver. I think he played in an era where the diva receiver was reigning supreme, and you had guys like T.O. still in the league, and Chad Ochocinco and Steve Smith, and those guys were getting a shine over him, and all he was doing was catching 100 balls in New Orleans. So I think he kind of got overshadowed because he was so quiet, and his demeanor actually caused him, you know what I'm saying, you know, very little attention. You know what I'm saying? He got little attention because of his demeanor. I feel like if he was a little bit more vocal, or, you know, he celebrated a little bit more, he drew a little bit more attention to himself, then maybe he probably would have got what he deserved, but he didn't, you know. And I look at him and like Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison kind of slipped between the cracks because he played with Peyton Manning. So his quiet demeanor was okay because, you know, people still realize his greatness because he played with Peyton Manning and he was on television with Peyton Manning. So he was able to really show his skills. Colston had a few 160-yard games. Don't sleep on him. Yeah, Colston was good, though, man. Like I said, very underrated. Very underrated. Yeah, man. I mean, he didn't want the fame. Yeah, he didn't. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with just wanting to do your job and go home. But I feel like I said, if the Saints would have been on television like Peyton Manning was at the time or Tom Brady was at the time, I feel like he would have really got more attention. I wish Berman was a few years younger when he entered the league because he deserved that ring. Yeah, I mean, the beer man. Okay, the beer man. Talking about Michael Lewis. Okay, beer man. He's talking about the beer man. Let's see. Yeah, I agree, man. You know, Michael Lewis, a great success story. You know, played for the Saints for a couple years, ran back some kicks. Wasn't elusive at all. just had real top end speed. That's what he had. Like no elusiveness. I bet none of y'all would say that to Reggie's face. And if you did, I would buy drinks for after your hospital discharge. I bet you I say it to his face. I bet you I would. I would. And I'm not even just saying that. I mean, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not going to say nothing on here that I want to say to a guy's face. I ain't scared of nobody. I don't run for nobody. Same thing I said to them. Like if they came on the State of the Saints podcast and I had an opinion about them, I say it to their face. Well, I wouldn't say it to their face. I'd be saying it to them as they were on here. I know, Ernest. I know what you're talking about, man. I know you're kidding, but I'm just saying, like, I don't sugarcoat nothing. Like, the only reason I don't say those things is because, you know what I'm saying, like, they ain't here. But I feel like that is the rule of a coward if you say something about somebody and couldn't say it to their face. That is a true coward. I mean, for real, like, if I guarantee, like, if Trequan Smith came on this show, I would tell him, man, I feel like he can be a better player. He can hang the phone up. He can curse me out. He can say whatever you want to say. But I will say it to his face. And I will send it to him. You know what I'm saying? I will send it to him, me saying what I'm saying about him. You know, I don't have no problem with that. If he was to see this and say something like, this dude don't know what he's talking about, I just tell him, go back and watch the tape, my friend. And I know you watch the tape. You watch the tape more than me. That's what y'all do on Mondays after game. Y'all watch the tape. So I know you seen it. Who would win a race with Kamara, Lattimore, Hardy, or D. Harris? I think Harris will win that. Yep. Nobody remembers you unless you're a champion. Yep. That's why all these stats and all these accolades, they go away, man. They go away. But at the end of the day, you know, championships, those are the things they stay around. Give us our 2009 defense, we would have 3 Super Bowls. You know the crazy thing about this, in my opinion, I feel like I feel like the defense they have now is better than the defense that they had when they won the Super Bowl. The only thing about it is they was getting turnovers. Like, I think Darren Sharp had 9 interceptions that season. Like, they led the league in turnovers. Like, they was turning over the ball. They still had issues tackling. They still had like issues, you know, like with coverage and stuff like that. It was just the fact that, you know, guys were like, they was getting turnovers. But I still think the defense they had over the last couple of years was better. I just feel like they were a little bit more physical defensively back in those days. That defense wasn't special. Turnover after turnover. That's what y'all not understanding. Man, rings aren't just what the determining factor in evaluating a player. I agree with that. But the way that the media has everything lined up now, it's like if you don't win a championship, then you're nothing. Like, you're a waste of time. You're a waste of space. It's a horrible realization, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's a horrible reality, but that's the way they set things up now. If you're not winning championships, then you're nothing. And that's a doggone shame, man. Like, it's sad, but that's the way that they got things. Because back in the day, man, people appreciated greatness if you won championships or not. But then it just came like everybody's being evaluated on championships. If you ain't win no championships, because the next thing be like, such and such had 900, such and such had these many touchdowns. How many Super Bowls they had? How many Super Bowls they had? That's the only thing they say, you know, which is stupid, you know, because that's like saying, okay, Joe Flacco is better than Dan Marino because Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl and Dan Marino didn't. But in reality, we know that that's laughable. We know that Dan Marino was a million times better than Joe Flacco. That's like saying Trent Dilfer is better, you know, than than some of these other quarterbacks that ain't won nothing. You know, like that's absolutely ridiculous. Trent Dilfer is not better than Dan Marino. Okay, I mean, he's not better than Dan. You know, like he's not better. He wasn't a better player than Chris Carter was. You know, like some of these great players, they ain't never won nothing. You know, like, so that's ridiculous. TJ, do you think Marshawn Lattimore reminds you of a Tracy Porter? No, I think he's better than Tracy Porter. Marshawn Lattimore was better than Tracy Porter, in my opinion. I think Tracy Porter was good. I think he was a solid corner, but I feel like Marshawn Lattimore is better. I think Marshawn Lattimore take too many plays off, but I feel like he's better than Tracy Porter. I love Alvin Kamara. doesn't get the Anthony Davis treatment. Rumors, all by the media until Kamara goes to their team like the Jets or Los Angeles. Yeah, basically, man. Look, they don't like the Saints having good players. They don't like that. They rather him go to a team where they can, lift them up so they can tear them down. Like that's what they do. Like it's pretty sick, the New York and the Philadelphia and the Dallas media. Like those guys are like sick. Like those are like sick individuals. Like for you to build a guy up to just destroy them and have the nerve, like when a player really don't want to talk or feel like they don't want to address an issue, get mad because they like, oh, I made you. How the hell you made that player? That dude would have been great, rather you wrote a column about him or not. Like I've heard like people like Stephen A. Smith get mad at Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant talked about him. He said, you don't want to make an enemy out of me. Like, what the hell can you do to Kevin Durant? Like, what, you gonna write a bad article about him? Ooh. Like, who cares, man? Like, the media, in my opinion, have too much power. Like, these guys have too much power. Like, who the hell do they think they are? Like, for them to like feel like they can just build somebody up just to tear them down. That's sick. That is sick right there. Like, for people to like, their whole entire point is to build somebody up to tear them down. That's sick. Like, but back to what you were saying, like, yeah, they don't want the Saints to be successful. They don't like that. They don't want Saints to have primetime games. Like, they praying to God that Mike McCarthy can bring that turn around the Cowboys. They hoping that guy, that came from the Patriots can build up the Giants. You know what I'm saying? Like, they praying to God, that the Jets can be relevant. Like, they don't want to talk about these small market teams. I bet a part of them hate that Tom Brady went to Tampa. They don't want to talk about Tampa. They don't. But they have to because Tom is there. ESPN made Anthony Davis trade story the top headline, and AG didn't want to leave at first. Well, I put it to you this way, Anthony Davis had the opportunity to stay with the Pelicans, and he didn't. Like, maybe the media stirred the pot a little bit, putting Chris Broussard on TV every day. If I was him, I would try to get with LeBron. Like, whatever, dude. Whatever, my man. Whatever. Okay. Like, more power to him, man. But we all know the media just don't like small markets, man. They don't like being in these areas. Dallas got more primetime games than the Saints. Yep. That's just the truth. Like, they always get those primetime games because of Jerry Jones being on TV. We have what we need in order for us to make it to the Super Bowl. I feel like Mike is a suitable coach, and we're going to get Dak and Andy Dalton, and we're going to try to get a run at these things. Like, man, I'm tired of listening to Jerry Jones, man. I'm tired of it. Like, for real. Like, I'm over it. I'm over it. Like, I'd rather them talk about somebody else, but here we are. Do you think the defense will be better this year? I think they were pretty good last year. Cowboys are a $4 billion team. So, how much winning they doing? You know what I'm saying? I don't care about how much money they got. How much winning they doing? Jerry Jones has lost it as a GM. I don't know if he really handling too much of the GM stuff as much as he used to. I think his son Steven kind of handling up on things too. So I think Steven is in his ear a little bit more, and he's giving a little bit more of the responsibility to Steven. But I'm just over Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. They can miss me with that. $4 billion last championship in the 90s. Yep. $4 billion can get you a lot of things, including the president of the United States. I'm just playing. Oh my God, TJ Jerry Jones. Like, man, seriously, man. Like, he's just a guy who people just love him. People love Jerry Jones. I like Jerry Jones. Like, Jerry Jones okay with me, but I don't feel like his team need to get that much attention. So who are the Saints' top 3 teams being our biggest competition? Well, The Kansas City Chiefs is one of them. You talking about Kansas City is one of them. And right now, you know what I'm saying, like the Patriots until they get knocked off. Please don't say the Vikings. Oh man, I ain't saying nothing about no Vikings. Nah, I ain't saying that. Nah, Vikings ain't up there. Yeah, Vikings are not up there. They not there. I would say the Kansas City Chiefs. I would throw the Baltimore Ravens up there too. Yeah, 49ers, I'd throw in that thing too. Seattle, I would throw them in there. Trying to look around the league here. I think Pittsburgh will be back this year. But when I look at it, like, yeah, I'll say the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, then the Saints. Okay. I still think the Saints, I mean, I understand they lost to the 49ers, but I would throw the Saints above the 49ers just because of the quarterback position. Let's see. Not really, Debo. They're the same team as last year. They didn't really add anything. The David Clowney, how much is he willing to come down with his price? That maybe there's a chance. No, Mike. No, Mike. We're trying to save money, man. We're trying to pay players. We don't want we don't want those guys, man. Too rich for our blood, okay? They too rich. They too rich for our blood, man. With that Big Ben, what's going on, man? But about to go ahead and head up out of here, man. But we're supposed to talk about Alvin Kamara, but all these different topics and questions and stuff like that start coming on. So I want to make sure I answer everybody's questions. Thank you to everybody that donated to the podcast. Thank you all so much for your love and your support. Me personally, once again, I feel like Alvin Kamara will get paid. He will be paid this 2020 season. He will be the first to go off the books. And I say he is because Lattimore has his fifth-year option. Ramczyk got his fifth-year option. So I feel like those guys are going to come into camp, probably going to have one of their best seasons. And Alvin Kamara going to end up getting paid. And I think the Saints are going to run the football a little bit more this season. I feel like they're going to be committed to the run. And hopefully we see some more of Latavius Murray and even some Dwayne Washington up in there, man. Like, have a 3 running back set. I think they're going to be ready and willing, and I think that we're going to see more out of the running game. But this has been the State of the Saints podcast. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. Also on facebook.com, search State of the Saints podcast. And also check out Fantasy Football Counselor on YouTube. I was a special guest on this podcast today. So Fantasy Football Counselor, man, y'all check out the interview that I did with him. We were talking about Alvin Kamara on there. So please subscribe to his channel too, man. And man, comment down there, man. Tell them that TJ sent you. Comment down below on that video. Tell them that TJ sent me. You know what I'm saying? And also subscribe to his channel, man. He's a really solid dude, man. Just trying to build his brand. And once again, man, support all Saints channels. It's not just the State of the Saints podcast. They got so many other Saints podcasts that are available out there. Man, y'all check them out. NOS, check him out, man. Deuce Wenham, check him out. The Pro Media, I think. I'm thinking that's his name. The Pro Media, man. Check him out. There's so much Saints content for everybody, man. So make sure that y'all, lift up those brothers and appreciate their content as well. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?